about John Ashbery. Last year, the Library of America published Ashbery's collected poems, 1956, 1987, a book of some 1,000 pages. I got it in the mail and thought I would put it on a shelf with many other books of his, because, you get a book that big, I don't have time to read books that long, especially books of a poet that I have read many, many times and been influenced by and so forth. I know his work quite well. But to my surprise, I started reading it from page 1 and couldn't put it down. Here was a body of work as original and beautiful as anyone had written in the last, 50 years, anywhere in the world. This book ended in 1987, so there have been many more books since. His 25th collection has just come out, and it's just, I think, out like a month ago, right? Just a week ago, right. And it's called Planisphere, and it's as inventive and brilliant as all his other work. This seems exaggerated, this seems kind of nuts to say, but I must say, rereading him, I was convinced that this is an extraordinary poet. Originally, he was grouped with the so-called New York School of Poets, who, with several other poetic movements in the 1950s, saw themselves in various ways as subverting the poetry conventions of the times. Ashbery has long transcended such label. It has always seemed to me that at the heart of Ashbery's aesthetic project is a lifelong effort to elude categories. His poems, there are many ways in which poems are amazing, but his ability to renew himself, to do something different, from book to book, I find, more than admirable. I find it astonishing. The critics who conscript him as a postmodernist, whatever that is, are wide off the mark. His poetry is far too varied and intellectually complex to permit itself to be pigeonholed. He himself readily admits that he was influenced by Wallace Stevens, that Marianne Moore was important to him, Gertrude Stein, Elizabeth Bishop, Laura Riding, the French poet novelist Raymond Roussel, and more surprisingly, William Carlos Williams, Boris Pasternak, and Osip Mandelstam. Whatever these influences were, they have been absorbed in a work which is, completely his own. When Walt Whitman claimed that he contained multitudes, he was not just bragging. To a greater or lesser extent, all Americans do. There is no poet since Whitman who has had a larger vocabulary than Ashbery. Like Marcel Duchamp with his ready-mades, he's confident that his poetry can be made of any verbal material, no matter how seemingly unpoetic it may be. Where he differs from the author of Song of Myself is that there is no inflated ego in Ashbery, no belief in the unity of the individual self. In his poems, unknown speakers address other unknown speakers, or they talk about themselves as we eavesdrop. He told an interviewer in 1978, the year his 3 plays was published, "I think in my poetry one can become aware of a number of different voices carrying on a dialogue or conversation." Ashbery He's a poet with the finest ear for the nuances of American language. He has received every literary prize we have. I'll just mention a few. The National Book Award, the Pulitzer Prize, the Griffin, that's actually Canadian, and the National Book Critics Circle Award, and many foreign ones as well. He wrote his first poems when he was 8 years old, and now here he is to receive, for me to present to him, the special Premio Napoli Prize 2009 for his life work, a well-deserved prize. Jack?
A beautiful bronze plaque with my name on it.
And also, a book, this is a very heavy book, a novel.
Oh. Fantastic. Well, thank you all very much.